Hi, everybody. Welcome out to the Logroom Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, January the 28th, 2025. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Oh, hi. Geez, we're on.
We are on.
Yeah, I'm just playing a game on my tablet.
What were you playing? Anything good?
No, it's an old game. I don't even know why I still play the damn thing. It's just like an addiction at this point.
What is it?
It's called Polytopia. I don't know if you ever played that.
Polytopia. No, never heard of it.
Yeah, the boys got me into that, and they stopped. They've long since let it go.
And you kept going, of course, because
yeah, they're playing like Civ 6 now. Remember Civilization?
It depends on what you're referring to, but
no, we're not doing politics. No, the game Civilization, the Sid Meier's game.
I do remember that. Yes,
and I remember I did Civ 1, Civ 2, and what was the other one?
Civ 3.
Alpha Centauri. No, I never got to Civ 3. And then now they're up to like 6, and apparently getting ready to launch number 7. So
there you go.
So that's they're playing that now.
I'm still playing word jumble. So that means
word jumble, and
I'm not even on my phone, just in the paper. You know?
Yeah, and then the Sunday papers. Remember those?
Yeah, remember.
Remember that one little thing, that one article, "Urge to Kill."
Yep.
You couldn't put that in the paper now.
Not even close.
It's just this one panel. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it was one panel of someone pissing somebody else off, and that's all it was. And it was called "Urge to Kill."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't do that today.
Even the Far Side is far from what it used to be.
Oh yeah, you couldn't get away with some of those.
Some of the stuff that was 40 years ago on the Far Side, it wouldn't fly today.
There's a lot of things. A lot of those old cartoons, you just couldn't get away with some of the stuff they did.
Exactly.
So
couldn't do it. But anyway, on that note, we got a couple days to celebrate.
We do.
Today. Go ahead. Start us off.
Well, it is Lego Day. International.
Yes. Happy International Lego Day for those who celebrate.
Because there's like, we've got one like just up the road, like 2 doors down from where I work.
Okay.
It's so damn popular. People line up for blocks.
I see what you did there.
You see what I did there. Okay. No, it's oh man, I remember playing Legos. My oldest son and I, we did a Star Destroyer, one of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
It had thousands of pieces in it. And we had done it. We put it up on one of these shelves. Apparently, the weight of it, this is why you anchor things. And it wasn't a shelf. It was one of those CD racks, CD towers, right? Yep. Well, you anchor these things because we put it up there. And we're like, okay, cool. But so much of it was sticking out the front, the gravity took over. The whole damn thing came down.
You're right.
I had a snow globe in one of the cubbies on that one, and that thing broke.
That's cool.
I had my daughter. She was like about 6 months old on my chest at the time. As it starts coming down on me, I actually managed to get my arm up and sweep it off to the side before anything hit us. But so that's my Lego story. You have any near-death Lego stories other than stepping on the damn thing?
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, I could tell you, it felt like that several times. You know, my son basically. Leaving Legos, you know, everything's cleaned up. There was one of the little, all it was that little one spot, right? That little one brick.
Yeah.
That little tiny one. That the smallest one there is, right?
Yeah, the one you can make antennae with on the big ones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Buried in the carpet. You can't even see it. And you just step on it. Of course, you step right on the corner of it. And it's so small that it goes further into your foot than the bigger ones do. So
yes, they do. Mm-hmm. Oh, those things are painful to step on.
So, and this is what we celebrate today.
And we're celebrating stepping on. No, we're not celebrating stepping on the Legos.
We're celebrating the Legos. Yes, very great invention. Hours of fun for me in my youth, and for me again in my adulthood with my kids.
I'm old enough that we did these. We had these things called bricks before Legos came over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Remember those things?
I go back before all of that to Tinker Toys and
Erector
sets. And
Erector sets were born out of like the scrap metal that wasn't used for the planes when World War II ended.
Right.
That's how old those things are. And don't forget Lincoln Logs.
And Lincoln Logs, yes. Lincoln Logs were probably of those Tinker Toys. Erector sets and Lincoln Logs. Lincoln Logs were probably my favorite.
The only time I like Lincoln Logs is when I got into science and was making models of atoms.
We're showing our age here, by the way, because half the people listening that are under a certain age don't even know what the hell we're talking about.
Nope.
Lincoln what?
Nope.
Tinker? What the fuck? Yeah.
And we know people who like they didn't have any of those things. They just had stones. Just stacks.
Just stack stones on top of each other. Exactly. So, did you play with Legos, Tinker Toys, or just stack rocks? With what was it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the generations right there.
Exactly. Pretty much. Anyway, we also have today is National Blueberry Pancake Day.
It is. More on that later.
More on that later. More to come on that that particular topic, but nonetheless, happy National Blueberry Pancake Day. There you go.
Also National Kazoo Day, and I have a kazoo somewhere.
Happy National Kazoo Day.
I thought it was somewhere in this desk, but this desk has got so many drawers and cubbies and things in it. Maybe it isn't here. Maybe it's in the box in storage.
Right.
It might be in the base case now that I think of it. Huh. Which is sitting over there, but I'm not going to go grab that. But yeah, so National Kazoo Day. One of my favorite stories about kazoos is, if you remember Philadelphia, WMMR in Philadelphia, great radio station.
Sure.
They would have the Louie Louie parade.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd march around doing Louie Louie on kazoos.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a neat use of kazoos.
Now, I got a question about kazoos for you. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, this has nothing to do with actual kazoos, I don't think, but Flintstones. And again, half the people don't even know what the Flintstones were, but Flintstones.
I don't know if
now, was it the Great Kazoo or the Great Gazoo?
That was Gazoo.
I mean, we can both look very easily, right? But
yeah, I can do it without everyone hearing your thunder fingers, though.
Well, I was going to pick up my phone and do it, so you wouldn't hear that anyway. So.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah.
It's Gazoo.
It's Gazoo with a G.
Yeah, with a G.
All right, there you go.
So
I always wanted to say the Great Gazoo. I always want to say Gesundheit, but when they said it, so.
Yeah, it's a stretch.
A little bit of a stretch. Brian Bowe commented in. He said, "Cheers, gentlemen," and they said, "All the comedy we grew up with would not fly, from Archie Bunker to Andrew Dice Clay to Richard Pryor and more." Absolutely.
Oh, don't forget Red Fox.
Oh yeah.
Everyone just sees him as Sanford.
Uh-huh.
What was his first name?
What?
Mr.
What are you talking about, Mr. Fred?
Fred Sanford. But if you ever saw his stand-up comedy, he was one of the bluest comics going at his during 100%. His day.
Whatchamacallit? If you watched him in Harlem Nights with Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor,
yeah, he's playing himself.
That was closer to what Red Fox really was than Sanford. Yeah. You want to know what's funny though? Red Fox clearly was not his given name. He actually changed it, but his surname, his birth surname was Sanford.
Huh, very cool.
There you go.
Yeah, but you know what? Kudos to the network execs who decided to put a sitcom on television with Red Fox.
Yeah.
Do you think he can control himself? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if that was that filmed in front of a live audience? That'd be hilarious if it was. How could he?
John Elroy Sanford. That was his name.
And what was his son's name in Sanford and Son?
Lamont,
right?
Lamont.
And I forget who he's played by. At any rate,
Lamont was. Oh crap! I could see it in the opening credits.
Yeah. In that font.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I'll think of it, but it'll take me too long, so screw it.
Desmond Wilson. There
you go. I knew that as soon as you said Desmond, I'm like, yep, that's
it. LaWanda Page playing Esther.
Yep, that was great. And Grady.
Whitman Mayo. Yeah, as you can tell, I still have the screen up.
Screen up, there you go.
I don't have these things memorized.
You gotta
it's the big
one. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. There you go. You big dummy.
Yeah, big dummy. Anyway,
all right. So again, we've just lost half of our viewership.
Well, the thing is, he said cheers, and we don't have beers, so you can't cheers without beers.
I believe you are correct, sir. And by the way,
right, yeah, we should introduce what the show is.
Just just as an aside, before we do that, just as an aside, anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about with any of this stuff, go watch it, okay? Because it's hysterical.
It was hysterical.
Go watch it. So if you haven't guessed already, tonight is just the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight it's going to be about brewery trips and bottle shares.
But
we may talk a little bit about cigars and other smoky things.
Maybe, but it is our annual Rauch Beer show.
It is our annual Rauch Beer show that we're actually postponing. But go ahead.
Well, we're not really postponing. We're postponing the guest, but not the show.
Right, but we're going to drink Rauch beers again on that show as well. So.
Maybe if I have any left.
We'll get.
But those who are used to the Rauch Beer show in February, John Hall, the Sultan of Smoke, is typically on. The big Samoa. Actually, I'm going to start calling him. I don't know if you saw his Facebook post where he's dressed as a Samoa selling Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense.
He's not Samoan. Any rate.
Yeah,
he's
not a big Samoan.
No, he's not Samoan. But he is under the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And actually can't really speak much, right? He said?
Just what I hear. That's the word on
right. Correct. So we will drink Rauch beer on the show today, as we are wont to do at this time of year, and we will have Mr. Hall at a later date.
Mr. Hall be on shortly, if you will. And
he's not that short. Stop.
And it will be a fun show. And I will be drinking Rauch beers, and we will push that show because he's on the show. We'll push that show to the this week in Rauch beer show. This week in Rauch beer page. I'm saying. Yeah. And we'll have it. So it'll be a reboot, if you will, a redux.
But what's going to be interesting, this is going to be maybe the first ever show that we're in our separate studios where both of us are drinking the exact same beers.
Exact same beers, yes.
We haven't done. I don't think we've ever done that.
We might have had one or two.
Yeah, but not all three.
Unless a guest gave us, unless we procure a beer from a guest.
This angle. Yeah, there's that. They sent us something.
They sent us something, but short of that, we have a comment from Augie Carton. He said, "What are these shenanigans?" He said.
Oh, they're the typical shenanigans of every week, and
and they are. So what do we?
They are.
So what do we?
Probably another joke in this. Oh, so the first beer. This beer's a nightmare.
I see what you did there.
Oh, it's by Nightmare Brewing. This is called Iron Cage. So if you're familiar with Nightmare, they like to name their beers after either interesting torture devices or ingenious ways to kill people. To go in with a theme, and this one's Iron Cage, so it's not as we didn't have to actually Google this one like we did the last time I drank a Nightmare.
Exactly.
I'm not going to re-mention that one.
No. This is a Hellas Block brewed
a Lego block.
It's a Lego block. This is a Hellas Block brewed with Vienna malt and lagered on lightly charred oak.
So we're going to consider the same. A light Rauch.
A light Rauch. So we'll start off with this. We'll work our way. Cheers.
As usually when I'm drinking Nightmare, I'm drinking out of my burial glass.
I'm drinking out of this glass here. And there's the can. Did you hold it up when I wasn't looking?
Yeah, but I held up the back. You can hold it the front.
There's the front. Hold up the back. There you go.
Well, it is a Hellesbock.
It is a Hellesbock.
And there's a light smoke to it.
There's a very, very, very faint light smoke to it. In a good way. Not bad.
Yeah. With as sweet as the Bock is, I wanted a little more smoke. I don't know about you.
I did want a little more smoke. A little bit more smoke. Augie said lovely.
I wonder if you talk about the shenanigans or the beer.
Probably a little of both.
Probably.
Brian Boak said, first beer is a homebrew version of Boak's Monster Mash that was brewed Halloween weekend and kegged just this past Sunday.
Well, that sat there for a bit.
Yeah, he had it sitting for a bit. So
yeah,
must be fantastic. So anyway,
that is an aged beer.
Cheers to both of you, fine gentlemen.
Cheers.
So anyway, all right. Well, that is what we're drinking first. I'll pull the crawl off. So let's chat a bit. I figured we'd talk about
smoke.
But I figured we'd also talk about a little about brewery trips and bottle shares for a few reasons, right? Because you just went on a trip.
And you just had a bottle share.
I went on one not too long ago. We go on them quite often, you and I.
Yeah.
We also, and it's not just the vacation trips, right? It's the local trips too.
Yeah.
Like we did on Saturday, which you were involved in.
Yeah, I just didn't make it to the bottle share because I wanted to get home.
Yeah, you did. But in any event,
without the local
and look, it was
involved,
right? Of course, and it was a light, if you will, light bottle share because we were out at 3 breweries having 2 or 3 beers at each. So when you have like a large bottle share with a lot, and you open up a lot of beers, having somewhere between 8 and 9 beers before full beers before you.
Yep.
Start that process. It's not really conducive to getting through a lot. That's conducive to a lot of wasted beer because not everybody's going to have it.
Well, I was doing small pours at the first one.
Right. Well, we only did 12 bottles. We opened up 12 bottles, and there was 9 of us, so it wasn't.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot. And probably half of them were large format. Half of them were 750s. And the other half were 500 mils. So
I used to love bottle shares. It's just there's never any bottle share where I can Uber to anymore. It's just the driving afterwards that makes me bow out of them. You've got to be responsible.
Unless it's somewhere that's close and you can Uber.
I just said that.
I know. I was being facetious.
Redundant. You were being redundant.
I was being redundant, but I was being a dick, is what I was being.
But now, with Brian moving down to Jackson, it looks like nobody lives near me anymore.
I got you. Yeah, we all moved away from you.
Yeah. I showered.
You moved to Rhode Island. We moved away, and you moved back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're all up here until they came back.
Yeah. So, but in any event, actually, I came down here before you left for Rhode Island.
You did.
But in any event,
there's a little event that involved smoke that caused that.
This is true. It's very true, and not in a good way. But in any event, I digress. But I was saying, like, bottle shares can come in any shapes and sizes. But we'll get to that. Let's talk about trips first.
Shapes and sizes.
Yeah, I'll explain when we get there. Let's
talk about figure out different shapes. They all every bottle share makes us round, and round is a shape.
Round is definitely a shape. Yes. And Brian Boak just said, "You guys are too far from me to Uber." I would say, well, and you know what? You could Uber. It would just be a very expensive Uber. So.
Actually, of like all of like our drinking circle that's on the beer rent shenanigans, I think I'm closest to Boak than anybody because he's in Clifton, right?
Boak? He's up in Upstate County.
Oh yeah, but then I'm still closer.
Yeah, no, you're still closer. Yeah. But in any event, I was just going to say, as far as that goes, we'll talk about the bottle shares in a minute. But what I was going to say, but Brian, just that note, and not just specifically speaking about what he said, there's a gray area, right? There's too far to Uber.
There's a lot of gray areas,
right? Too far to Uber and have it be worth it, but. Yes, I was being nice, Brian. I didn't want to say out loud what town you were in. Yes, he's in Wayne.
Wayne, that's right.
He's in Wayne, yes. Brian is in Wayne. But in any event,
barely Passaic County.
It's Passaic County.
No, I know, but it's just
barely.
It's just almost surrounded by Morris County.
It borders Morris County, yes. Yeah. It does. But in any event, there's a. There's a distance that is too far to Uber. It just doesn't make sense to the point where if you Ubered there and Ubered back, it would make more sense and save money to get a hotel room. It's just an Uber from there.
Absolutely.
But in any event, let's talk about brewery trips. In general.
We can do that.
It's in general first. In general first, and then we can get to specifics about especially the one you just took, because we haven't really had a chance to talk about it.
It wasn't really a brewery trip. It's just a trip that I have.
Well, no, it involved breweries. I understand. Not every trip that we do is, it turns into a brewery trip, right? Especially when we do things like that. But we do other things. We go up there for other reasons, or out there, wherever we go for other reasons. Places, right? You just happen to go to less breweries than you normally would go to on a trip.
Yeah, I only did like, well, because when you're with your son who's not quite 21 yet, 5 months he will be 21, but he doesn't drink. So you don't want to, when you're with someone, especially when you're kids,
Right.
and you know how kids can get when they get bored.
Mhm.
You don't want to drag them to all the breweries and make them sit there while you drink.
Right.
Um, so what I usually do is it's rare that I'll actually go to a brewery just to go to a brewery. It's
Mhm.
usually a meal involved, right? You're going to go to a place that's got
Sure.
that serves food. And actually, when you talk to my son about that, he'll say that some of his best meals he's ever had has been at breweries. Citizen 33 in Driggs, Idaho.
Right.
I think I've told this story before where we went there the first time. He ordered his meal, and we were going through that town again. He's like, "We're stopping at Citizen 33 for dinner, right?" Like,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
So that's always fun. But this one, I think there was. I think I dragged him to 3 breweries where we didn't meet. As a matter of fact,
That's
so,
pretty fun.
yeah. No, I flew to Atlanta. He lives in Columbia, South Carolina. He picked me up there. We went to Alabama. Actually, I think we hit 6 breweries on that trip.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were going to eat lunch at one brewery. We wound up eating lunch at Buc-ee's.
Yep.
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 Yep. And we wound up going to, but then I went to.
And what'd you have for dessert at Buc-ee's?
The little cookies.
The little cookies.
Got
Exactly.
those little addicted cookies. And then we went to Good People Brewing.
Yes, you did. Mm-hmm.
And they've got one of the bartenders has a dog that when she's working, that dog, Honey is the dog's name, is the greeter. She's very good at her job.
Hind legs and seats you at your table?
No. Just comes up and, part golden, so nose to crotch. No, she doesn't do that. But no, that was, Good People. They make good beer.
Hey, and they're good people there, I hear.
Yeah. But dinner that night was at a brewery. What was it? It's called 10 feet, 3 feet, something foot. This was down in Mississippi, Meridian, Mississippi, and it's a college town.
Mm-hmm.
Good food, pretty good beer, actually. I was very pleasantly surprised. But a couple of the ones that I wanted to go to Southern Prohibition. They weren't open when we came through town. Right, so that's always the case, right? If you've got a destination, mm-hmm. It's always rough when you can't time the brewery in.
Right. Well, we do that too, and I'll interrupt there. And I know you do this too. It's not like you don't do this, right? If I'm going, because you weren't on necessarily a brewery trip, like we just said, right?
Right.
But when we go on a brewery trip, before we go, I will list the breweries that I want to hit, and then I'll list I'll put a wish list too. We can pick off 1 or 2 of the wish list. That's great. If not, but these are the ones that we're definitely hitting, right? But I'll go in and I'll write down the times, days and times that they're open and when we're going. And we'll put a schedule together because I don't want to miss when they're open.
You don't do it in a spreadsheet the way I do?
I don't go that far. I just list it on a sheet. So I just write it down, jot it down.
Yeah, no, I do it on a spreadsheet. Hold on. I'm just going to take this right here and go. You see that right there? There's the dates and times of the breweries.
Right. No, I know what you do. Well, it's similar to what I do. I just my chicken scratch on a notepad, and then I'll either write it on the notepad and I'll take a picture of it so I have the picture of my phone, or I'll just put it in my notes in my phone.
No, I'll print this grid out. And what's interesting is when I'm going to be in Brussels, we're going to have a car. Mm-hmm. And at one point, we're going to go south and west of Brussels. Well, south and west of Brussels, you have both Alvina mm-hmm. and Drijfonteijn's Lambiekadroom, mm-hmm. right? So Alvina, they are open only on Tuesdays,
afternoons.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Lambiekadroom is only Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. Yeah. So it's going to be one or the other.
One or the other, yeah, exactly.
I think Drijfonteijnen may.
Yeah, I would.
That's a rough one.
If I had to pick, I'd probably wind up going to Drijfonteijnen. So.
Yeah. So more than likely, that's what we're going to do.
Right. Exactly. Because I'll go to while I'm in Belgium, I'll go to a beer bar and have Alvina.
You mean like Delirium?
Well, there maybe. Anyway else. But yeah. So, by the way, you said it's hard to drag your kids around to breweries. I just had to pull up a picture of my son with me at a
Well,
brewery.
your son drinks
Yeah.
craft beer, so
He drinks tequila more than he drinks craft beer, but he does enjoy craft beer. So
funny you should bring up tequila.
it depends on how much of it I drink if I bring it up.
I
See what I did there?
see what you did there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did actually drink a whole bottle of Trites, and yeah, some that came back up, if not a lot of it. No, what's neat is Delirium Cafe. I was looking into Delirium Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they actually have like 7 separate bars because they call it the Delirium Village now.
Okay.
And they've got 7 different bars. And it's really interesting how they've got these bars set up, because you got the Delirium Cafe. That's the original. That's the one that's got over 2,000 beers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the Tap House. So that's where they do all their casks.
Yep.
Right. Then you've got the Hoppy Loft. Guess what they do? Right. That's where most of your IPA, but mostly all the bitter stuff is. Mm-hmm. Then they got the Delirium Monasterium. Mm-hmm. So the Monasterium, you think, would just be Trappist and monastery ales, right? Abbey ales. Mm-hmm. But what they've done with that is where you had the monks in the West brewing beer, the monks in the East were making vodka. So it's Abbey ales and vodka.
Interesting.
And they've got a lot of vodkas, and some of them are really hard to find. Then they've got the Florist Bar. The Florist Bar, its main drive is actually absinthe. Mm-hmm. Then the Florist Garden, that's main drive is rum. Then they've got Florist Tequila. Guess what they serve there mostly?
Scotch.
Yes, absolutely. So they've got a tequila bar. So they've really branched out, taken over the whole area, and got all these specialty bars there. And I do not plan on hitting all of them. Mm-hmm. I don't think my gray matter or my liver matter could take any of that.
I don't think that it would be a good idea. No, it would not be advisable.
Definitely not in one night. So maybe the Monasterium, but definitely the cafe. I mean, that's the original. Mm-hmm. So definitely have to do that.
Definitely. All right. Now there's other types of trips, and we've talked about plenty of trips that you and I have gone on.
Yep.
Together, apart, whatever, and met up, what have you, obviously, many trips. But there's the ones that you go to on a Saturday that are local, right? I mean, It's still a trip of sorts, right? You're not going away by any means.
You left the house.
You visited several breweries, and then you went somewhere and got something to eat and came back or whatever you did. Hold on one second. We have a comment from Mr. Chuck Aaron. He said, "Happy 214th episode."
Somebody's counting.
Oh.
I'm not counting anyone.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks for
Chuck.
Thanks for reading the post.
Oh, it was on the post.
It's episode 214 on the post.
Oh, you put the episode numbers on the post?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't read the posts.
Obviously. Chuck, see that? He gave you that much credit that he thought you were counting that this is the 214th episode.
I thought the show meant that much to him that he kept track.
If I didn't put it on the post to write it down, I wouldn't have known it was the 214th episode either. Anyway.
We have our tracker, which is a spreadsheet.
Exactly.
And that keeps track of them for us. Yeah, exactly. That's what we call it, the tracker.
Yeah,
actually, no, we don't. We call it the logger.
It's the logger, yeah.
It's the locker room guy's logger.
Logger, yeah.
We didn't call it a tracker.
Exactly. But I take respect to what I was saying. The you leave the house and you go on a brewery trip. So this past Saturday, a bunch of us went to Kane.
Yeah.
We went to Asbury Park.
Yeah.
A new location on Cookman.
Okay.
And we went down to Bakes.
Thanks for the invite.
You were there at all three.
Oh, I was.
I have pictures to prove it.
And then you guys went to a bottle share, and I went to Kelly's for a Reuben.
You went to Kelly's for a Reuben, and I was actually we ordered pizza, but I was actually craving the Reuben that you were eating. So, and you know what? They're my two favorite things to eat at Kelly's. You know what they are?
Reubens and sushi.
There you go.
It's the strangest thing that they serve sushi there in this. And the thing is, they're very traditionally Irish because when you order the pretzel,
Mm-hmm.
it comes with that spicy Chinese mustard.
It does.
Which is what the Irish do. You don't find that anywhere else. So they do the traditional Irish thing, even to the point where all the bartenders are in the white, either the white shirts or the black shirts with the crest on it.
Well, the connection there is Coleman's, because
The mustard,
the Coleman's mustard,
yes,
the powdered Coleman's mustard, not the one. I mean, the one you get similar, the premixed, but the powder Coleman's. That's what it's what most Chinese food restaurants use. There is a Chinese one, but it's the same thing, right? So they all use Coleman. So basically, if you went to a Chinese restaurant and ordered hot mustard, homemade mustard, and then also went to an Irish bar and ordered Coleman's and put the two in front of you and ate them, they're identical.
Well,
there's a connection with the
It's mustard and horseradish.
It's basically that, yes.
Yes. Right. And it's funny thing because I dipped in, put it in my mouth and went, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's straight up Coleman's.
Oh no, I mean it cleans your sinuses, that's for sure.
Oh yes, it does.
But
maybe we should send some of it to John Hall.
We should probably do that.
Yeah,
I should. And that's the thing too. I never put Chinese mustard on my sushi.
No, neither do I.
I just save wasabi for that.
Yes, that's what this wasabi is for.
Exactly. But my point being, as we spoke about it, yes, you would not think this is a typical Irish Irish pub, if you will, but they have amazing sushi. And it's not in the kitchen, like they're not making the sushi back in the kitchen.
No, you can see the guy.
The guy has a separate stand. He brings in fresh fish. He's a sushi chef that's in the bar.
And you can tell that it's sushi because it says sushi right above his head.
Right above his head. Yes. They had another location years ago called Kelly's, called Clancy's.
That is Kelly's.
Yeah, called Clancy's, up in Neptune, right on the border of Asbury Park and Ocean Grove. It's no longer there. It's the Sea Crab, yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, see, I can't make fun of you for that because I think when I texted you, I called it Pat's, which was the long-standing diner in Belmar.
Right. Yeah, you called it Pat's, referring to Pat. I thought you were going to. I thought you meant you were going to Patrick's, which is the steakhouse in Neptune, right, basically around the corner from Kelly's. I thought that's where you were going. But yes, Pat's was the diner that was on 35, right across from where Marina Grill is now.
Yes. And I used to work at the Polo Club, which is long gone, as a valet. So when we were done, we'd go to Pat's.
Of course.
For an egg salad. I'd always get an egg salad sandwich and a BLT.
There you go.
And chocolate milk.
Catch up on a couple of comments here. Chuck Aaron said he drinks and I drink beer and read. Hold on. Things.
There
you go. And then Brian Boak said, Chinese mustard goes on the egg roll, 100%.
Oh, I use the duck sauce in the egg roll.
No, so here's what I don't. Sometimes I'm in a duck sauce mood for the egg roll, but most of the time, this is what I do. Most of the time, I will bite off the end of I will dip the end of the egg roll in the mustard and bite off the end of it. Then I take soy sauce and pour it into the egg roll, and then continue to dip the egg roll in the mustard while I'm eating it.
Oh, so you double dip?
I double dip.
Good to know.
There you go.
Take note.
Well, I have my own mustard, just me.
No, see, I bite the end off, but then I keep filling it with duck sauce with each bite.
Yeah, sometimes I'm in a duck sauce mood. Most of the time,
I like duck sauce on it.
Yeah. So, but there you go, and there you have it. But
we got here somehow. Oh, that's right. We did those three breweries.
We went to the three breweries, and they were good. Yeah, we had a conversation with Mr. Michael Kane on Saturday at Kane for a while.
I do remember that.
Went over to Asbury, had a really big pretzel at Asbury. That was
and we had a name the band pictured on the wall. trivia question with the youngest of our group.
Yes, we did. Some of them she got.
But then she failed miserably.
Right. Well, you would expect her to, because half of the, because I got to be honest with you, a couple of the pictures that did have on the wall, it took me a minute to figure out who it was.
Oh yeah, the very, very young Led Zeppelin that was up there.
It was ridiculous, but it's all on the wall. It's really cool the way it's done.
It is.
But it's all bands that and people that have played in Asbury Park at one time.
Right. Yep.
So that's what's cool about it.
And on the opposite side where the bathrooms are, that wall is all like the posters and stuff for those concerts. It's
You
really
ready?
cool.
You ready for another beer?
Oh hell yeah!
I am. Let's do it. What
are you drinking?
For my second beer, I'm going to have the same one you are.
Oh, that's right.
There you
go. We said this.
So I'll put the crawl up right now.
So this is something that John muled back.
I did
from Massachusetts.
Massive
two shits.
There you go.
So many nicknames for that state.
So many. I love. Hey, every time I go in there as a joke, especially who we're with, I start singing "The Spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America." Remember that travel commercial, tourism commercial from the 80s?
No.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that one.
Really?
Nope. But what we're drinking is from, if you haven't guessed already, it's from Treehouse. There's the Treehouse logo right there. This beer is called Slow Burn.
Slow Burn.
And this is Rauchbier am Herzen. Right.
There you go.
Always got to pronounce German words like you're angry.
Exactly. And for this one, I have it in proper glassware.
Yeah. Same, just not as colorful.
There you go. So,
cheers.
Prost.
Oh, wow, I can smell the smell.
Oh, hello.
There's a smoke we were looking
Hello,
for.
bacon. Oh, very nice.
Okay, so I would give this. Hey, Brian, what's your second beer?
Yeah. What is your second beer, Brian? Let's see. Oh,
Now you know what?
Chuck. Well, first of all, Chuck Aaron said, "I was told there would be no singing."
I can't stop him, Chuck.
All right, Chuck, I got to ask you a question. Do you remember that tourism commercial from the 80s, The Spirit of Massachusetts?
Chuck, there's two things I cannot stop him from doing. Singing, three things. Singing, showing selfies, and talking sports on the show.
There you go.
Those three, I just can't get
it. Just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
Just doesn't stop.
Brian Boak said, I thought you would never ask second beer. Homebrewed wooden beanie still have some on draft. Brian, I will be up on Friday.
There you go. Save some for me. Don't drink it all tonight.
I will be up on Friday. There you
go. Ooh, this is
posted. This is
trying to see if I broke smoke rings.
This is really good.
And this has got. So this is the one thing we've talked about a few times in the show.
Very nice. Very nice.
We're trying to socialize the Bamberg smoke units, BSUs. Mm-hmm. This one would probably I've decided to do a 0 to 5 scale on it. I'm going to do 4.
You do 4? I'm close to 5 on this.
No, not quite 5. 5.
No. I'm not at 5. I'm closer to 5.
5 to me is nearly undrinkable because it's just nothing.
Oh, you stop it. I'm going. I was actually. I don't know why I was going to 6. I don't know why I was going to 6.
Because you've watched Spinal Tap too many times.
Yeah.
These go to 6.
I was going to 11. Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. What we call it? Chuck just said, now I can't get the I Love New York jingle out of my head.
And you're welcome.
And Brian said, I work from home.
These are not popping up. There you go.
There you go. And then Chuck just said, I don't remember yours. I'm going to have to find it and post it. It was not to sing again, but it was, I'll just said that the spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America, the spirit of what's old and what's new. The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America, the spirit of the red, white, and blue. That's the jingle.
Now you do the whole thing. I do remember it now.
It was a tourism jingle for, come vacation in Massachusetts. That's what it was. Yeah.
We need somebody to pay our taxes for us.
Exactly. So, but yeah, no. So if 5's top, yeah, you're right. 4. I mean, it's up there, but this is 4.
So 4 for me is, bacon, really good char.
Mhm.
5 to me on the BSU scale would be I'm looking at an ashtray that's been sitting there for about 10 years.
Yeah, something that's really just too overly smoked
Yep.
that you got to really love smoke.
Yeah. So 0 for me is no sense of smoke whatsoever.
Right. Well,
1,
I did it longer than you, but we were both smoke eaters. So, I mean,
yes, yes. So we know what smoke tastes like.
mhm.
Then 1 is there is a sense of smoke, but there's no smoked malt.
Correct.
Right, like some of your really roasty porters can throw a little sense of smoke, as well as some of the really dry stouts.
Right. You can get a sense of smoke without even having
Right. So
smoked malt in it. Yeah. I mean, it just
right.
the malt that they use and the way they were kilned and the malt that they use can throw a little bit of that. It's the roast, but
Yeah.
it's giving you that flavor. It's not so much in the nose feel as Eric says, right? But it's in the you can get it in the it's the roast character. It's a part of the roast character.
It's part of the flavor.
Right.
And then 2 for me is a very light smoke, but there were smoke malted, like the Nightmare. Right.
Right. Yeah, I would have put that probably 1.8 or a 1.9.
Yes, and there's
Nightmare.
variations in there, and then when you get to 3, that is like that most approachable. Those most approachable Rauch beers, where it's kind of the gateway into something along these lines, which is up around the 4.
Right.
And 5 is just I can't drink this.
I could take a couple of sips and like it, and then on my 3rd sip, I'm like, "What the hell am I doing?"
Yeah,
That kind of a thing.
Wow, this is just creosote.
Yeah, exactly. Insane. But in any event, this is very good. This is very, 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 very tasty, and we we both got this, right? So I do have more, and you have more.
Yeah. We both got 4 packs of this. This is not one where we did a can swap.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I've got a couple more. I think I've the second. This might be the second one of them I've tried.
That's the first one I had. I made sure that I didn't want to have one of these until we did this show, and then we didn't do the show.
Well, we're doing the show.
Well, we're doing the show, but we're not doing it the way we were going to do it, and then we're redoing it of sorts. We're splitting the show into 2 shows, right? This is part A, and part B is when the guest is on in 4 weeks. So, but and Mr. Carton.
But we did save
that night too. So
we did save 2 of the beers we were going to drink tonight. We did save for that show.
We did. Yes.
So, and I got to remember to I'll email Aslan beforehand because his beer will be on that.
Yeah, show. I'll have 4 on that. I got 2 Schlenkerlas. I'll have 4 on that show. I have 2 Schlenkerlas, a Heater Allen, and the Main Street that we have.
No, I've got the Main Street, the Schlenkerla, and maybe I'll find another one. I may have it. I thought I got 2 smoked beers from Treehouse. I'd have to dig through the beer fridge.
I have. I'm sure I will see you at some point in the next 4 weeks. If I do, I have an extra can of a smoked Helles that I've had already from Von Trapp. Not the one we're having next.
No, it's not a Helles.
It's not a Helles, but it's so I can hook you up with that if I still have it when I see you. Exactly. All right. So bottle shares.
Back to bottle shares.
Back to bottle shares. Bottle shares.
Well, before we move on to bottle shares, I want to talk a little bit more about beer trips, right?
Okay, go ahead. Go for it.
Because the one thing is, when we do beer trips in the U.S., right, you pin the breweries, you go to the breweries, you find the breweries, operating hours.
Right.
Europe's different.
Okay.
There's very few breweries that have just a tap room, right? And those breweries tend to be the breweries that brew American-style beers, right? Like when I was in Germany, Higgins.
We had them on the show.
They had a tap room. Giesinger, right? They're doing IPAs. They're doing a wide array. They had a tap room.
What's the brewery that is pushing to become
part of? That's actually Giesinger.
That's Giesinger, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because they're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde because they do all these styles. They do They do a lot of IPAs and stuff, but they are trying to become the sixth.
They want a tent. Yeah.
Yeah, a tent in Oktoberfest.
Right.
So, but they do have a tap room. They're right by the market. They're just across the street from I I just lost the name of the brewery. But almost every
Hofbrau, right?
no
Not
no
Hof.
no 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 Hofbrau's in a different part of the town. It's one
It's a
of the
brewery. It's a brewery you're talking about.
Hockershire.
Oh, Hockershire. Yeah, Hockershire.
One of the Hockershires is right across the road from them, and the Hockershire sits right on a market. But it's funny because it's just kind of like this one really thin, small tap room.
Mm-hmm.
You go in, you get your beer, and you go hang outside. There's so many people just standing outside drinking.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there's no problem with it. But for the most part, that's not the case in Europe. The breweries are attached to restaurants. Mm-hmm. When I say attached, not necessarily physically attached. But in some cases they are, like Hofbrau. If you've ever been to a Hofbrau in the United States or anywhere in the world, you know it's almost a restaurant first, but we have a brewery.
Brewery's part of it. Like the one in Pittsburgh, and you've been there.
Yeah.
The one in Pittsburgh, most of the fermenters are actually outside. They're jacketed and they reside outside in.
Yeah, I've got pictures of it.
Outside. I'll pull one up. Go ahead. You talk more, but you're saying
but there's pull one up. But that's like that. The research I'm doing from Belgium, they don't really necessarily have tap rooms. Now, I know Alvin does have a tap room. I know there is the Lambica that Dry Fontaine has, but for the most part, it seems to be so far similar to Germany, where they have got what we would call a brew pub. There they are. Where they've got a brew pub.
That's not decoration. Those are the fermenters.
No, those are the actual fermenters. And it rained that day, I see.
It was raining that day, yeah.
But, so we would call it a brew pub. In Germany, it's a Braustable, or just the restaurant. And what is it? A brasserie in Belgium and France.
A brasserie in Belgium. It's a brasserie in
Belgium and France.
In Belgium and France, yeah.
In Belgium. So it's interesting that there is really that big difference between American drinking culture and European drinking culture, where Americans are more likely just to go to a place just to drink, where Europeans don't. They eat and drink at the same time. So if you pin a brewery in Europe and you expect to drive there and be able to get a pour, you've probably pinned their production brewery. If it doesn't have a menu of food, more than likely you can't go in. Right. It might be the production brewery. A lot of these, though, the brewery, like if you go to Weihenstephan, okay, it's on the same grounds as the brewery, but the brew pub is actually just a little, maybe 50 yards down the hill and across the street from the actual brewery. Right. So so if you're going to do a beer trip in Europe, be prepared for that.
And I'll give you a little other, for instance, too, and this goes anywhere, really. If you do happen if you happen upon a brewery that you have on your list that's open till a certain time, and sorry about that.
Someone needs some peanut butter.
Exactly. And they're closing early, already clean the taps, but even though they're supposed to be open another half an hour, any of that stuff, right? And they're disappointed, right? There's always somewhere else you can go, and I'll explain why. I won't dime the brewery out, and I won't even mention the brewery that saved the day either. I won't do that to either, all right? Well, just as a matter of fact kind of a thing. And I wouldn't even say the name of the town or city at that point because it was a city.
Probably still is a city.
It's still a city now. Yes.
Oh, it wasn't bombed. Okay.
No, it's still a city. No, well, a lot of us were bombed. All right, because there was definitely a craft brewers conference. That I'll say. So if anybody wants to do some research, you could probably pick out a handful of cities that it might have been, but I won't tell you which. But in any event, should have been a brewery that was open till 9:00. And got there at 8:30, and the one bartender said that they had already cleaned the taps. Now, and the reason I did mention it was the CBC is the fact that the entire town was loaded with everyone coming in for the Craft Brewers Conference. You would think that they would at least stay open till they were supposed to stay open, right?
That's just bad
this
planning.
guy just wanted to go home, is what he wanted to do, right? And then I found out the next day in their tap room, because we went back, in their other tap room, that they wound up staying open late. We didn't walk around the side. Bad on us. However, we did benefit from it. And found out he goes, that guy's probably getting fired anyway. He goes, but in any event, they were closing early, so we left. I took an Uber to this other brewery we wanted to go to that was open till 10. Not only did we get there by 9:15, I mean, it was a little bit, by the time we left, it was 9:45. So we got there a little after, just after 9. It was like 20-minute ride. Not only were they open till 10, they called last call at 9:45. We walked out of there at 11:30. Okay,
that's how it's supposed to be.
Because the brewers that were there, and they wound up, it wasn't just us, right? They didn't just single us out, right? There was probably about a dozen of us at the brewery. They were like, yeah, you guys stay here, try this, boom. And that's the way it is, right?
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. And,
yeah, I bet you a lot of brewers like that.
Right. And if you happen to be fortunate enough in a situation like that to be just a guest there and not be part of the brewers, you're going to benefit from it because you're going to stay there too. Yeah. So, but in any event, so that was good. But there's always something else to do. My point is, don't fret. There's another place to go, even if it's a bar. You know, well, don't let it ruin your day. Is
not always the case. Like if you're in Driggs, Idaho, there's one brewery.
All right. Well, there's always exceptions to the rule. All right. Yeah. If you're in the middle of nowhere, you're going to accept the fact that if the place you wanted to go to is closing, you're going back to the hotel.
What John's saying works well for the cities. Good chunk of the East Coast. Good chunks of the West Coast.
Some places sporadically in the Midwest.
But when you get like the cities, but then there are some like little pockets, clusters. Enclave. I like that.
Word of the day.
Not conclave.
Conclave. Enclave. Hamlets. Hamlets are too small. Hamlets wouldn't be open. Conclaves will be.
Yeah, but well, that's the rub now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Oh, don't make me start quoting Hamlet for the rest of the day. But at any rate,
tomorrow, and all right.
I saw what you did there.
All right.
I know it well.
All right.
Him.
Well, no. It creeps in his petty pace from day to day. Come on.
Struts about the stage. Struts and frets about the stage.
Struts and frets. It's hour upon the stage, and then it's heard.
So anyway,
it's a tale told by an idiot.
Yes, it is.
Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. I mean,
we just that's. Oh, I forget the sound and fury. That was
No.
I forgot his name.
I always want to name a beer soliloquy, and then when you pop open the can, you hear it. It just goes.
Alas, York, I knew him well. A man of infinite jest. All
right, enough of Shakespeare. Let's talk about.
Yeah, and if you don't like Shakespeare, just get yourself to a nunnery.
Exactly.
No, but what I was going to say is out west, and in so many places in the country, it's like you've got town, nothing, town, nothing, town. Like the trip I took with my son. You're going through Alabama and you're going through Mississippi all the way down. It's not until you get close to Louisiana where you start getting that urban sprawl. Mm-hmm. Here where we live in the tri-state area, it's all urban sprawl. So we don't think of it as urban sprawl. We just think of it as normal. And
right.
For the rest of the country, that's actually not all that normal.
When you say that, like I for some reason, I always when somebody brings something like that up, my mind always goes back to a story that Matt Patensky always told, and it's not that old of a story. It's only about 4 years old of a story. He was driving from Pittsburgh to Denver with Dustin Kraft.
Yep.
I've heard this. Yeah. Dustin bought a car in Pittsburgh. He lives in Denver. Matt flew to Denver. Met Dustin. Matt flew to Pittsburgh. Dustin flew to Pittsburgh. They picked up a car and they drove it back to Denver. Anyway,
a lot of easily carrying it
in the middle of Kansas. In the middle of nowhere in Kansas, not in Topeka, not in Wichita, in the middle of nowhere. Riding down the road, brewery 5 miles, brewery 4 miles, brewery 3 miles. They get there, they pull in, they're like, "Oh, we got to stop!" Right? Boom. Yeah. So they pull in, they go in, they got a flight of beer. I won't belabor the story, but the bottom line was, their flights were served on metal trays, not in flight paddles or anything like, just on metal trays.
I've seen the pictures.
Right? And every glass in the flight was different.
Completely different.
And not just on their tray, between both trays. Every glass was different.
Yeah, it's a flight of 4, and there's like 8 different glasses, right?
Right, pretty much. Yeah. So it was great. But but it not only was it because they're in the middle of nowhere and it's that kind of a place, but that was their shtick. That was on purpose. Right. So it's just pretty funny and pretty cool that they did it.
That is cool.
So, and the beer was pretty good, he said. So then there we go.
Cool.
So you'll find these things, you'll find these things on your trips. You'll find places you've been thinking about going to and wanting to go to for a while they won't disappoint you. They won't be bad. I shouldn't say that. They won't be bad per se, but they'll disappoint you because you've built them up to be better than they may have been. So that's on, I don't want to say it's on you. It's on what you've been fed and built up in your mind.
Well,
right?
to that point, if you are putting together a beer trip and you're looking at untapped overall ratings for a brewery, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You're not being fair to the brewery, because the one thing you've got to understand is that most of the untapped check-ins for breweries tend to be hopheads.
Yeah.
And if they don't have, and anybody who does a lager, they're gonna shit all over the thing. So if you see a lager heavy brewery that's got a untapped rating over 3.7, consider that like a 4.5. For an IPA brewery. It's just you really don't mostly ignore them,
right?
And especially if you like lagers.
Yeah, on that note, and the counterpoint to what I said before was, don't write off breweries if you're looking at untapped scores. Don't write off breweries that may have a bunch of styles that you like, but all of a sudden their global rating is 3-4.
Yep.
Right. Look, you got to think about who's doing the ratings, right?
That was my point.
Exactly. So, and case in point, I've been to breweries. I've walked into breweries that their overall rating was 4.8. And I've walked in there expecting
what the hell was this crap?
Now, the beer was very good, but for me, maybe they were a 3.9 or a 4 or a 4.1. So I was disappointed, right? It was still a great brewery, but I'm disappointed because of what I was expecting, right? You got to pay. You got to level out your expectations, right?
Yep.
But on the same note, I've been to a brewery that a rating was at 3.2, and it was one of the best things I've been to. Yeah, amazing stuff.
You're not in corporate America. It's called level set your expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the kids are saying today.
Level off your expectations. So.
Level set.
Level set. No, I know, but I'm saying the way I want to say it. But quick comment in from YouTube. We have KO saying, "I appreciate your dedication to this show. Keep doing what you love to do." Thank you, KO. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're a knockout.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Thank you, KO.
And you know what? We were thinking of ending it right after this show, but you've given us the will to go on.
Stop. We appreciate your comment.
No, we absolutely do. You got to turn everything into a joke. It's what we do.
I know. All right, so before we finish this beer, move on to the next one and then do our top 3 list.
This one's taking a little longer to get through.
It is because of what it is, but it's we're about the same.
Oh no, but enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it.
Enjoying it.
We're literally drinking it the same. I mean, that never happens.
No, it doesn't.
But in any event, bottle shares. Let's talk about bottle shares.
Okay.
Bottle shares come in all shapes and sizes, and what I mean by that is this.
Yeah, I want to know what you mean by shapes. Is it the table that you're at?
It's I'm using it as a
metaphor.
A metaphor. It's a metaphor.
Oh, it's a metaphor.
And I don't know what I metaphor. What did I met?
Anyway. Where did you meet her?
It depends on where you met her. That's what the metaphor. That's what you met her for.
Right? Oh, did you buy something on Amazon Marketplace? That's what you met her for.
That's what I met her for. Yeah. All right. Or no, I bought it on Facebook Marketplace. That's what I meta for.
All right. Oh, a double pun.
All right. Facebook, we got a comment in from DJ Lasnovsky. When I'm in new areas, I'll look at what's on tap. That's how I decide. I don't look at ratings. Awesome. Yes, that's
perfect. That's
you're 100%.
Cheers to you, DJ.
Cheers to you, DJ. 100%. You're absolutely right. I do that all the time too. I look at what they have on tap. I look at the styles. I don't give a damn about ratings because ratings are subjective. Who had the beer? What do they like? So that's what I mean. I go based on what the styles they have, and the more styles they have that I want to have, I'm definitely going to hit that place. But 100%, you're spot on with that. Cheers.
Yeah,
Thank you for
the only time that I'll probably write a brewery off based off of looking at the tap list is
that.
if it's just nothing but IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course,
Cheers to you, bud.
Of course, if I'm in the San Diego area, you can't get away from them, and that's where
No.
you're going to get some of the best. So,
Of course,
I'm not going to write those off. Of course,
No, of course. But so my point in the
but New England,
yeah,
it's nothing but IPAs. Like, no,
that's not necessarily true because Schilling is smack dab. Schilling and Von Trapp are smack dab right in the
But
middle.
Schilling has very few IPAs on.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Treehouse or Schilling?
Schilling, and I'm talking about. You just said.
I said if they've got nothing but IPAs on and it's in New England, I'm more than likely going to.
Oh, I thought. No. I said, but New England as a whole. New England is not a whole, by the way. It's great. I love New England. But Schilling and Von Trapp are smack dab in the middle of New England. Barely any IPAs. So.
Exactly. But
Brian Bogue said, Brian Bogue agrees with DJ too. Agree. I only look at styles on tap, no ratings. Absolutely. And Carl's number one pay pig says, what up? So cheers, Carl.
Cheers. You're a stand-up comedian. What is going on in the profile picture? That's. I'm curious. I am curious.
That is.
Or is he a singer? Oh, is he an Elvis impersonator?
I'm not sure. Well, what are you? What are you doing in that profile picture, Carl? Please let us know.
Yeah,
we want to know. We want to find out.
Inquiring minds.
Inquiring minds want to know. So, but anyway, all right. So, bottle.
Again, another old person reference.
For 20 minutes, I've been trying to go to bottle shares,
and I've not been letting you because I want to see you. I want to see you get home safely.
It's a short conversation.
Oh, you are home. Never mind.
I am. I'm home. Right. My bed's right.
I'm still really curious about shapes and sizes. Are we? Are we putting square pegs in round holes?
There's all different kinds of bottle shares. How's that? Is that better? Does that work better for you? All right. Anyway, so what I mean by that is this. All right. You don't need to break out every single bottle that you've ever collected at every bottle share.
Matt.
There's a couple of people who shall remain Matt and Brian. I mean, nameless. I mean, nameless. That bring way too much to bottle shares. And we appreciate it. We really, really do. But the purpose of bottle shares are twofold. One, to enjoy numerous different beers that you would not have had otherwise with good friends in a good environment and in sharing your social aspect and everything else of that evening. That's number one. That's first and foremost. But the number two reason to have a bottle share
those nights are kind of special.
They are. They're very special. But the number two reason to have a bottle share is to get rid of a lot of the shit.
Bottles that you can't drink
yourself. You can't drink yourself.
And it's not shit. It's good stuff because you're not going to... Because except for some people, you're not going to share shit with your friends.
You're not. Yeah, you're going to share the good stuff with your friends.
Right.
Carl just said he is a lounge singer on the weekends. Carl, please let us know. Write us in. Message us in. Write it here if you want. We'll promote it. Let us know where you're playing next. And if it's nearby us, we'll go. If it's not, we'll at least promote it for you, though. So I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding.
No, it's been a long time since I've been a good lounge singer.
100%. So,
do you know Richard Cheese?
Richard Cheese.
Oh, you got to look up Richard Cheese.
Richard Cheese.
Are
you serious with this?
I'm very serious.
I thought you were going to joke with this.
No, it's not a joke. He takes modern day hits, and he does it as a lounge singer.
Okay.
Like Imagine Baby Got Back as a lounge singer.
A friend of mine actually did that once as a joke in a band. He did a lounge version of Purple Haze.
Yeah, but this is all he does. Right. He actually does a lounge version of Gin and Juice.
Gotta hear this.
You gotta look him up.
Richard Cheese. I'm gonna have to do this. All right, I'll have to do that. But no, Carl, seriously, let us know. And DJ Lazanowski, lounge singer.
There we go.
All right. Okay. Are they DJ and Carl? Do you know each other? Or I'm serious. I'm not even. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I wonder if DJ answering for Carl.
Yeah, exactly. If you know each other, are you each other? All right, yeah.
We've had that before.
We've had, seriously though, no lie. We've had people watching on YouTube and Facebook at the same time and commenting on both. Yep. And it took us about 20 minutes to realize it was the same person.
That's happened 3 times, I think.
KO says he's heard of Richard Cheese.
Oh, it's
Or
some
she.
great
I'm
stuff.
not sure if KO is a he or a she, but
Yeah, it's great.
they've
stuff.
heard of Richard Cheese.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've definitely got to play that when the show's over.
And TJ just said, "LOL, no, never met."
Okay.
There you go.
Uh,
Yeah. Anyway, so look, just to wrap up the bottle share
shares.
thing. Just to wrap up the bottle share thing. What I mean by that is it doesn't have to be balls to the wall, have 30, 40 different bottles and go nuts. And we both know people that like to do that. I might have mentioned them before, but that's besides the point. And those are enjoyable too. If those are enjoyable too, depending on when they start, what the circumstances are, how many people are there, because I can go to a 40 bottle share if there's 40 people there, because I'm getting a half an ounce each. You know what I mean?
I'm basically drinking one whole bottle.
Right. So I'm drinking one bottle all together. Right?
Put it this way: if
over the course of 5 hours, so that's fine.
But, and then you get the kill shot.
I don't want to go to a bottle share with 5 people and 40 bottles. You want to avoid those. That's not a good scene,
As long as
because you're either going to pass out for 2 days, or you're going to waste a lot of good beer.
The other problem is, like, even if there are 40 people and there's 40 bottles, after like the 5th, 6th, what are you tasting anymore?
Right.
So I don't know. I've kind of like gotten over bottle shares. One, because I don't live close to them. Needless to say, I've got a lot of friggin' bottles sitting over there now that probably should be shared.
See, 15 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, I wanted to go to the bottle share. Let's do it. Let's do it. Right now, and I don't like to think that it's the fact that I'm getting older.
It is, but it is.
I know it is. I don't like to think that it is.
No.
But I enjoy the lighter ones. I enjoy the 10, 12, 15. I mean, it can be a lot of people, that's fine, but not a lot of bottles. Just enjoy. But the conversation, right? It's not one of these where open a bottle, pour it, pass it, drink it, open the next bottle, pour it, pass it, drink it, open the next bottle. I don't need this assembly line bottle share. I want social aspect. I want the conversation. I want the music on.
Quality over quantity.
Exactly. Quality over quantity. 100%. Well put. Yep. Well put. Cheers to you, Samurai. Thank you.
Finish that because I've opened the third.
I heard. All right. Why don't you talk about the third and then I'll open mine while you describe it.
Well, this one's called Torsten, and I just...
Trostin.
Trostin. Oh, that's why I can't find it, because I'm spelling it wrong.
TRO, not TOR. It's
because I haven't been to Torsten in a while. Maybe that's why I'm spelling it that way. I miss Torsten.
It's Trostin. With umlauts. But it's Trostin.
Trostin. That's why it's not coming up. Mm-hmm. There we go. So, yeah. So this is... So John, last time he was in Vermont, he went to Von Trapp. Mm-hmm. And the hills were live.
With the sound of Trostin.
With the sound of cans of beer opening. Wow. I poured mine into, even though he's not here, he's here in spirit, this weird Hauk beer glass. Mm-hmm. Because it's a good size for this one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's the can.
There it is.
It's got the Von Trapp goat on it.
Yeah, I handed you a can just like that on Saturday.
What?
I handed you a can just like that on Saturday.
What do you mean?
Never mind.
With a goat?
No, that can. I'm kidding.
I've missed a joke.
Never mind. Continue.
You've lost me.
You've lost that joke and feeling.
So let's see. We have.
Chuck was told there would be no singing.
And he's done it again. I told you, Chuck, I can't stop him. At least there's been no selfies or sports talk today.
Well, there's been one selfie, just the one of me and my son.
That was. Oh yeah, that's right. There was a selfie. Damn it. Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Because 2 out of 3.
Stop!
I knew I had to go there.
Damn it!
All right.
So I saw Meatloaf once at
I saw pork roll.
But I saw him at the Stone Pony.
Really?
And Me and
Never,
my buddy.
never saw Meatloaf. God rest his soul. Never saw Meatloaf.
No, we got there. We're right up against the stage,
Okay.
and my friend's about 6'3" at the time, 6 foot, and there's these two short girls standing behind us. And I look at my buddy like, you do know he sweats a lot.
Yeah.
So we turn around, we look at the girls like, you two want to be up against the stage because we can see right over you. It's fun. They're like, oh my God, that is so sweet. I'm like, no, you mispronounced sweat.
Oh my God, that is so sweat. Yes.
Yeah, and they did get hit by sweat, by the way.
He was a God rest his soul, but it's a very big sweater.
Oh, yes,
he was good at. Did you ever see The Pick of Destiny? And I refer this a lot of times, and not a lot of people have seen it too.
The Kick of Destiny, the one with the Mannings?
The pick of Destiny.
No.
With Jack Black and Kyle Gass, it's the Tenacious D vehicle, The Pick of Destiny.
No.
Yeah, it was from 06-ish, so it's almost 20 years old, but it was, I can't believe 06 was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That sucks. It really does. But yeah, he was in it in the beginning. He played Jack Black's father in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, cool.
When Jack Black was a youngin.
But it was his most famous movie.
The character of not Jack Black, the character that Jack.
Yes.
Like when the kid that played Jack Black's character.
I think we all figured that.
I'm just making sure. Sometimes
But his most famous movie role, of course, was.
Oh, in Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror.
Absolutely. Please. Used to go to that almost every Saturday night. Sometimes with a date, sometimes when there wasn't a date, sometimes if the date went very well, I didn't go. But
what, to get meatloaf?
No, to go see Rocky Horror.
Oh, Ma, the meatloaf.
Ah, the meatloaf. You ever go to Rocky Horror?
I have not gone to Rocky Horror. No.
Ever?
No.
Oh,
No.
Seriously?
No, never did it.
Oh my God! You don't know who you're missing.
Who?
You don't know what you were missing.
You said who?
You don't know what you're missing.
You're still flashing back to some of those dates, aren't
you?
you?
But no, it was audience participation because.
Oh no, I know that.
You went there with props.
I know when it was raining, everyone's the water
umbrellas,
pistols, umbrellas,
water pistols, yeah. And
they threw the rice.
Great Scott! You throw every 90 rolls of toilet paper go flying up in the air.
During the wedding scene, the rice gets thrown.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
but
I know what you're supposed to do and when. I've just never been to one.
Yeah, I had to go. But anyway, so I haven't taken a sip yet. Have you?
I did. And I'm waiting to really judge the beer, to really get the tasting elements of the beer. I'm going to wait till I'm more than halfway done. For the main reason being is because we just had a beer that's smokier.
Yeah, we probably should have had the Treehouse last.
Well, we didn't know where they were on the BSUs.
What the BSUs, right? Exactly.
The BSUs were in it. But the one thing that's interesting note here is with the smoke being mitigated by the previous beer.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting a real fruit. I'm getting a real fruity character.
I'm getting nice dark fruit. Absolutely.
Right. So I'm waiting to get down more than halfway through, and
I'm getting the smoke. I can get the smoke. I'm
getting a little bit, but actually getting more roast than smoke right now.
A little of both. I'm getting a little.
Right. A little more roast than smoke. So I'm gonna wait till we're more than half before I really figure out what's going on with this beer.
Fair enough. But anyway. So that's my take on bottle shares. Just it's quality over quantity.
We were talking about bottle shares. Bottle shares. We're talking bottle shares. I'm the one.
Playoffs.
I'm the one.
Playoffs.
Sports references now.
I brought it in. Yeah, exactly.
Twice now I've done it.
So
if you're paying attention,
if anybody watching loved the officiating, the stellar officiating. In this past Sunday evening's AFC Championship game, let us know that you enjoyed the stellar officiating, and then we'll be able to know who you're rooting for in the Super Bowl.
So DJ's got a question.
And
I've got his answer here.
All right. First of all, Justin Miller for DJ's question.
Said,
are you going to Lou's birthday party this weekend?
I don't know Justin or Lou.
Justin, Lou's birthday party. Lou.
Lou
Lou. Just give me the last name. Just comment in the last name, and I'll know. Does the last name start with a T? Then I'll know what you're talking about or who you're talking about. So I have a feeling I know, but maybe I don't. And then DJ just wrote in which treehouse?
Slow burn.
Slow burn.
Slow burn right there.
Come on and take a slow burn.
Slow burn. This is a Rauch beer Märzen.
Yep, it's a smoke Märzen. So, but it's fantastic. Fantastic.
I love the German language.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that whole thing about butterfly, right? In the different languages. In
I don't-
English, it's butterfly. In French, it's papillon. In Spanish, it's mariposa.
Mhm.
In German, it's Schmetterling.
Yeah, Germany's pretty harsh.
The German language, it's well. Then there's that other saying: is like life's uncertain. So tell the people.
Justin,
Okay,
Justin, formerly of West Coldwell. I'm pretty sure that's who we're talking about, right? Lou TES. We'll leave it at that. All right, screw it. Lou Testa. Just let me know. There you go.
I say I've heard of Lou Testa.
You know who Lou Testa is.
I've met Lou Testa.
You do know who Lou Testa is.
But there's that other saying that life's uncertain. So tell those people you care about that you love them.
Mm-hmm.
But scream it at them in German because it's also frightening and confusing.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right. That's what you have to do, really. I mean.
So Brian Boak has answered your question.
Hold on one second.
But does it mean that that's going to tell you who he's rooting for? Because we know that he's going to be just like us, torn and rooting for both teams to lose.
Brian Boak said he's referee team wears red and black stripes. Yes. So Brian, I'm not going to be rooting for the Eagles. I'm just going to be rooting against the Chiefs.
I may root for Saquon and Saquon only.
So, Justin, this guy right there, is that your time?
I've met that.
There you go. No, but I will now. There you go. Cheers, Justin. I'll reach out to Lou. In fact, I'm going to text him as soon as the show is over. Say, why the hell were you watching the show, and find out where the party is, and I'll see you there.
And where the hell's the invite?
Mm-hmm. And there you go. There you have it. All right. So yeah. So bottle shares, quality over quantity. That's
quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. That's our main thing. All right.
I've got a lot of bottles sitting over there.
I have too many bottles. In fact, I'm redoing the office here. In probably not by the next show, but within 2 shows, you're going to see the TV, and this is going to be here. The bar is going to be down a little bit, and there's going to be another bigger bookcase
Shelving
here.
unit.
Shovel unit. Bottles are going to be in there. Glassware is going to be in there. Some other books and some other things are going to be in that. Some of them are going to move. That picture that's here is going up here. I gotta clean out some of the clutter and actually make this work a little bit better.
I actually have to pull my desk out and I got to redo because I've recently started using HDMI cable, and apparently HDMI cables are more susceptible to surges than USB cables because when my beer fridge cycles, my screen turns off. So I need to pull it out because I do have a surge protected a strip with a surge protector on it,
right?
And I've got the fan plugged into it. That's the only thing plugged into.
That's the only thing plugged into it.
That's the way. So I need to swap the strips.
You got to swap it. Yeah. Brian Bogue just commented. He says, "I hate green, but I hate red more. So I will think of it as rooting for a tie that will never happen. NFC East is my only leaning factor." I agree with you. And here's the thing.
But also Saquon's a leaning factor as well.
Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going with this. We got him started on sports. No. I'll just say this and then we're done. All right, and we'll talk. We can mention Super Bowl.
And when you say, I'll say this when we're done, about half an hour later.
No, because we're not gonna. We're not. Look, we're next week is Belgian chocolates and Belgian beers. Okay.
Oh, it is.
It is. So, and it's stuff for Valentine's Day. So we're not going to get in any sports conversation. And by the following week, the Super Bowl will be over. So I'm going to say it now. Get it out now. Be done with it. All right. I'm probably going to be paying attention to more of the commercials than I am the game. I'll say that right now. However, and what I'm eating and drinking. That's besides the point.
I'll say I'll probably pay more attention to the wings.
That's fine.
I'll be cooking. I'll be cooking them.
But here's my thing, and this is how I.
You have a thing?
I have a thing. This is how I.
Is it thing 1 or thing 2?
This is how I substantiated where my allegiance for the Super Bowl is going. All right. If the Chiefs win, they now have 5 Super Bowl wins, and they're above the Giants in Super Bowl wins. Okay. If the Eagles win, it's only their 2nd Super Bowl win. They're still 2 away from tying the Giants. So
and they'd be 2 and 2, right? 2 and 2 or 2 and 3?
2 and 4.
2 and 4, jeez.
Right. They were in 1.
They lost
2, 3, 4. No, 2 and 5. 2 and 5.
They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Chiefs.
No. They lost to the Raiders in the early '80s.
Yep. That's the last time I root for the Eagles in the Super Bowl because Jaworski was the quarterback.
They lost to the Raiders. They lost to the Patriots in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They beat the Patriots in the later 2000 teens, and they lost to the Chiefs. And so this is their 5th Super Bowl. So if they win, they'll be 2 and 5. If they lose, they'll be 1 and 5.
You mean 2 and 3?
2 of 5.
2 of. Okay.
2 of 5.
I'm like, they won 7 Super. I was trying to they're not winning 7 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm on board now.
There you go. So I'm
all caught up.
And Brian Boak just said, my daughter pale charades. Did he play charades with Saquon? And I'm assuming he just plays charades with Saquon and his family. Because I'm not sure what pale charades is, but I'm sure it's play charades with Saquon and his family. That's cool. Look, I have nothing against Saquon. I'm more pissed off at Joe Shane. Look, Joe Shane, the Eagles, and all the Eagles fans.
See, here we go. And it just keeps going.
Well, I'll just say this, and you can't disagree with me.
It has nothing to do with disagreeing or not to disagree. This is a drinking show. It's not a sports show. And you said, I'll only do this one thing. And then you didn't do one thing. You just kept going and kept going.
Shut up. What are you, an auctioneer? Yeah. The Eagles and the Eagles fans owe this Super Bowl run to Joe Shane screwing up and not re-signing Saquon.
Okay. Time for the top 3s.
And he said, my daughter played charades with Saquon and his family at a friend's house. There you go. So
just trying to prove to us that he's not drunk typing.
That's all of course. There you go. So, all right. Tonight's top 3 list. We said, remember, we're bringing it back. Today is National Blueberry Pancake Day. So, in honor of Blueberry Pancake Day, has nothing to do with pancakes, has to do with blueberries. Tonight's top 3 list is top 3 favorite uses of blueberries. Not necessarily in beer, just in general. Uses of blueberries. And
actually, none of mine are beer.
Well, how about it?
None of mine are beer.
Going 3, 2, 1, or?
Yeah, I'll go 3, 2, 1. 3 would be see, I never did really figure out 3, but I'm just going to go with a straight up blueberry muffin. Mm-hmm. It's hard to beat a blueberry muffin. But then that ties into my number 2. We discussed earlier that I lived in Rhode Island briefly, and there is a donut shop there called PVD Donuts.
PVD Donuts is amazing. I love PVD Donuts.
And they make a donut that's called a blueberry muffin top donut.
That's your number 2.
And if you eat enough of them, you will have a muffin top. I'll tell you that right now. But what I loved about this is, the top of it is like the top of a blueberry muffin. It's got that nice crunch to it. But the filling is almost like a blueberry sour cream filling. So it's not sweet. It doesn't help. Oh, my God. It's one of my favorite donuts I've ever eaten in my life. Mm-hmm. Number 1, when I was in Maine, when we were up in Acadia, we went into Bar Harbor. We parked the car in the yard. We went to Bar Harbor, and we went to a brewery called Flame. Flame's like a small chain up in the Maine area. I think they're all in Maine. I think there's one down in Massachusetts, maybe. but they did a blueberry. It was blueberry habanero barbecue sauce on their wings, and it was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite barbecue sauces, favorite wing sauces I've ever had that I haven't made myself.
So blueberry habanero barbecue sauce on the wings.
Yeah, that was quite yummy.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. All right.
Blue to you.
Blue to me. All right. So I got I got 2 honorable mentions.
Got a couple honorable mentions on this one.
I just had to adjust something because you took one of mine. So I moved it to honorable mentions. So there you go.
The blueberry muffin, straight blueberry muffin.
Blueberry muffin now becomes an honorable mention.
Okay.
But also an honorable mention is blueberry pancakes from what today is definitely an honorable mention. My number 3, going in order, here we go, is not in Bar Harbor, but also in Maine. Okay, because Maine is known for blueberries, even though the state that produces the most blueberries is actually New Jersey.
And ours are bigger.
They're bigger.
The Maine blueberries are
very small. They're small,
but they're tasty.
They're small. They're very tasty, but they're
very tasty.
But New Jersey actually does, as odd as it may be to hear, New Jersey produces more blueberries than Maine. But Maine is when you hear blueberries, you think, oh, it's Maine. Nope, it's New Jersey. There you go. So, and specifically Hamilton, New Jersey.
Specifically
Hamilton, New Jersey. Anyway,
specifically,
yeah. So, my number 3 is in Maine, and it's in Portland, and it was I'm pretty sure they're still there. I heard they were changing some things around, but the last time I was there was actually there with Dave, and that's I never was fortunate enough to have the blueberry habanero barbecue sauce in Bar Harbor, but I did have the blueberry barbecue sauce on the wings at Liquid Riot in Portland, and you had them as well.
I did.
Yep.
But they didn't stand out the way the habanero was.
No, I mean it was more. I mean it was a little bit of a kick, but it was just regular barbecue sauce.
Because remember, we had come down from Acadia at that point, so we'd already had.
Right, of course. No, I get it. I just haven't had that sauce. So
yeah, and it may not have been a standard. It may have been like a special.
That's fine.
So,
but but those are fantastic. I mean, they were. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't overly sweet. It wasn't overly cloying. It wasn't super sweet. Well, it was barbecue sauce, but so you had the barbecue elements, and you had a little bit of a kick, and you had the blueberry elements. It was really good.
Well, Maine blueberries aren't overly sweet.
No, they're not.
Right.
They're more flavor. Flavor, yeah, exactly. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is a blueberry scone.
I'm glad I didn't bring up my honorable mention, because mine would have been the blueberry lemon scone.
Well, there you go. That would have been fine, because I would have left it. It was honorable mention, so I would have left it my number 2. So. But blueberry scones. If I have a selection of scones, and there's many, and blueberry is one of them, that's my go-to. I'm getting a blueberry scone. So that's
we've got a different opinion on where blueberries come from. You see the comment that we have up there?
I do not. What do we got here? All right. KO. I think of Michigan blueberries, but I'm from the Midwest. I'm sure blueberries are grown in many places. Oh, yeah. And I'm sure Michigan blueberries are fantastic. I know of, I've never had any. I may very well have had any, but I'm from New Jersey, so I'm assuming that the majority of the blueberries I've had are from New Jersey.
If I think of Michigan and fruit, I think of cherries.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
What are they called? There's a name for the Michigan cherries. Because I know there's a lot of the breweries out there will use those, and they'll use those in place of for like a creek or something. Mm-hmm. What are they called? In place of Morello's. The Michigan tart cherries. I looked it up. It's like Montmorency, but that's not the Ballotons. I don't know which ones they were. Anyway, keep going. What's your number 1?
Hold on.
You looking it up as well to try to figure out which ones I'm talking about here?
States that produce blueberries, it doesn't give me a list in order, but states that produce blueberries are Oregon, Washington, California, New Jersey, Georgia, Michigan, Florida, North Carolina, and Maine.
You're looking up the blueberries. Okay.
Blueberries, yeah. So anyway,
I'm
all right.
to figure out what that one Michigan cherry is called.
To check it out.
I'll find it.
Anyway, but my number one takes me up to Bar Harbor too.
Ah.
All right. And it is indeed a beer. And it is from Atlantic Brewing Company. Yep. It's Bar Harbor Blueberry. It is the best blueberry ale that I've ever had. And I'm not one to put a lot of fruit in beer, and I'm not one to drink the fruit beers. I enjoy them. I respect them when they're brewed right. I'm there, but I'm not one to like seek them out, right? But the Atlantic Brewing Company Bar Harbor Blueberry is it's the best blueberry ale I've ever had. Now, I will tell you, the second best blueberry ale I've ever had does not make my top 3 list, but the second best blueberry ale I've ever had is from a brewery that no longer exists, and it's a brew pub, and that was the Boston. What was it called? Damn it! I forgot about it. Yeah, there was 3 locations in and around Boston. There was one right across the street from Fenway. Was it Boston? It wasn't Boston Beer. That's Sam Adams, but Boston.
No, not Southpaw.
Nope. Blueberry. No, I can't find out. Boston.
Actually, I think my second favorite blueberry beer I had was what's it?
Beerworks. Boston Beerworks. Boston Beerworks. Boston Beerworks.
What is it? Is it Barrington Brewing in Rhode Island? Was it Barrington?
There he goes. Joe, Doug Smith just commented. John is correct. Bar Harbor Blueberry is a benchmark, and he said it's Beerworks. Yeah, he did. Boston Beerworks. Yeah, you're right.
He knows. Yeah. And the one thing is, we were also talking barbecue. If you want good barbecue, go to Atlantic Brewing in outside Bar Harbor.
In Bar Harbor, yeah.
It is. It's not in Bar Harbor.
It's just outside Bar Harbor.
It's just outside Bar Harbor, but it's on the
island.
It's on Desert Island. It's on Desert Island.
Right.
It's the barbecue is fantastic, and it's so inexpensive. It's so damn good.
Yeah.
So yeah, get the barbecue, get that blueberry beer.
There you go.
So good. Now I'm doing this. I'm looking. It's near Newport Craft Brewing. Oh, Coddington. So Coddington Brewing Company.
Coddington. Oh yeah. Coddington has one. Yeah.
Their blueberry beer is really good.
It's good. It's probably I'd probably put it 3rd or 4th on my list behind.
Yeah.
Behind Bar Harbor.
And Doug, and here I am looking up. Doug's already told me it's Coddington.
Doug said Coddington. Yeah.
And
Coddington Blueberry is great. Yeah, absolutely.
And they drop a blueberry in it when you get it.
Well, Boston Beerworks did that too. You got the blueberry ale, and they drop blueberries in it. You had like 4 or 5 blueberries floating up and down in your glass.
Yeah, if you
put it in one of the big tall.
If you go to Coddington, and get the taster, you get 1 blueberry. And if you go to Coddington, get the burgers. The burgers are so damn good. Mm-hmm. It's a really good burger place. Not the best burgers in Rhode Island, but they're damn good burgers.
I do miss Boston Beerworks. It's crazy. And I will tell you this too. I hate. No, I can't say hate. Hate's too strong of a word. I strongly dislike watermelon beers because watermelon is a flavor in and of itself. You can't translate it unless you add a lot of sugar and make it cloyingly sweet. You can't translate it into anything else.
Some people can do it.
All right. And the ones that can do it, kudos to them, right? But like 21st Amendment, Hell or High Watermelon, it's
a great beer.
I don't love it. I appreciate it.
I like it because it's one of the first beers that actually rendered watermelon.
I get it. But the best watermelon beer I ever had was indeed Boston Beerworks.
Yeah.
Yep. And they found a way to put it spot on. And just like you said, mentioned, put the blueberries in the blueberry ale. They actually cut a wedge of watermelon.
I've seen that done.
And slid it on the top of the glass. So it was garnished. right, with watermelon. So you can eat watermelon while you're drinking the beer. So
There you
yeah, Boston Beer Works was fantastic. I do miss them. It's a shame they went out. COVID did them in.
go.
COVID did them in. And they were right across the street from Jersey Ave, which used to be Yawkey Way, but because of all the bullshit, it turned into Jersey Ave. But right across the street from Fenway.
How the hell would you call it Jersey Ave in Boston? That makes no
Called it
sense.
Jersey Ave, but yeah, it's Jersey Ave and Brookline, yeah,
Oh, they named it after you.
Jersey Johnny. They named it after me.
There
Exactly.
you go. I get
Because
it.
you know how big a Red Sox fan I am.
Yeah, huge Red Sox.
Mhm.
Hey, just like me, your number 2 team.
Of course. Well, you're a Mets fan. You're a Red Sox fan. There you go.
Yep.
Anyway, all right. Anyway, okay. Next week we have our first annual Valentine's Day show, and the reason we're doing it a week
more than a week.
Yeah, a week and a half.
More than a week. Yeah,
week and a half before Valentine's Day is because we're pairing chocolate and beer.
We're pairing. Well, it's Belgian chocolate, but it's Belgian chocolate that's actually the chocolate itself does come from Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
The treatments of the chocolate occur in Connecticut from a Belgian chocolatier.
Yep.
And we will have him on the show. He's going to lead us through pairing beers and chocolate. And we will go a little rogue on him afterwards and have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
But watch, because very shortly we will be posting up. We're going to do something that we normally don't do and advertise the show well ahead, because what we want is we want your participation.
Mm-hmm.
We want you guys involved in this. So the information on how to order the chocolates that we're going to be tasting on the show,
Mm-hmm.
That information will come up there so that you can taste right along with us.
Yep. And if you can't get them in time, if you get some chocolates and participate in the similar chocolates, but then order the other ones for your Valentine's Day and have them like that. So, but we will have that on the show next week. It's going to be a fun show. If it goes well, we'll do it every year.
Yep.
In some capacity or another. But
this will be the first annual beer and chocolate pairing show for Valentine's Day.
I do want to put up Doug Smith's most recent 2 comments. He said, "This is heresy to say, but are you guys going for the Eagles?"
And so John and I are taking 2 different tacks here. John is going. He's not going for the Eagles. He's going against the Chiefs.
I will be rooting for the Eagles, but not in a full-on "Go Birds" kind of thing.
I will be rooting
it's just more of a against the Chiefs kind of thing, which is weird to say because, to be quite honest with you, 2 years ago
I was rooting for the Chiefs.
But
now,
amazing what 2 years does.
But also,
730 days does. Amazing.
I'm also rooting for Saquon.
Right, Saquon is going to be.
He deserves it.
I said it before. I'm more pissed off at the Giants with their treatment of them than him choosing.
Yep.
You know what? He would have not had this season with the Giants.
No.
He would have had half the season with the Giants.
So good for him.
Good for him. And then he said, "Don't want to see KC 3-peat, so fly Eagles fly." I agree with you 100%.
Except for those last statement.
The Eagles 3-peat. That means not only do they 3-peat do something no other team has done, but they also now have 5 Super Bowl wins, and they're above the Giants. And I know your Patriots are still safe at 6 wins, right? But they get one closer, right? But the Eagles only have 2. The Giants have 4. So I mean, have at it, Eagles. Have your second one. Go for it. So there you go.
All right,
that's mine. So all right. So look for the show next week. It's gonna be a fun show. Want everybody to tune in and let us know. Look for the post on the Facebook page too. We'll put it on the website as well in an article for you with a link to order the chocolates from the chocolatier from Connecticut. If you can get them in time, it's usually about 3 days. So if we post it up tomorrow, you should have plenty of time.
Well, it depends where you are. It was 3 days to Jersey, so it depends where you're in the country. Right. It is BE Chocolat is the name of the company.
We'll post it up. We're going to post up the chocolates. We'll actually order too.
I've already ordered, and John knows I have already. And I've got to say, if you place the order, so what we'll probably do is what we need to do is we need to find out from Benoit what the chocolates are that we're going to have, so you know what to order to taste along with us.
Right.
But when you place your order, also place an order for the Black Forest truffle. That is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That might be one of the single most best pieces of chocolate I've ever put in my face.
Yeah, it should be fun. It's gonna be a good show next week, and you're gonna
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
And if you're like me, you'll order twice as many of each of the chocolates because I'm eating some of them without the beer too. So.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, on that note, we will wrap up the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to.
Oh, good, because I gotta pay.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.logrom.com. It's LEGERROM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcast, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, CastBox, Deezer, Podchaser, Listen Notes. Pretty much anywhere you can find audio podcasts, you will find the Lager Room Guys Craft Beer Podcast. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Doug Smith just put one other comment up here. He said, one last thing. I see Brew Guru has tried Coastal Beer Works. Yes, he has.
I wonder where he got that from.
Next time John comes on, we'll talk about the meetup. Dave and John got together a couple weeks ago, and Dave was kind enough to loan him some beer. There you go. But
I didn't loan it to him. I don't want any of it back. When he's done with it, I don't like the condition it's going to be in.
But I'm pretty sure that Shooting Sea Star is the Shooting Sea Star label is the cover photo on the Honest Craft Beer Work.
It actually is. Actually, it's right here.
Reviews. There you go.
You just threw it up.
Honest Craft Beer Reviews is the and he hasn't. He also has the rye ESB, so he hasn't put that up yet. So
yes, that's posh.
That's posh. Yes, more on that when he does. I'm sure he'll talk about it. But yes, he did. Thanks, Doug. Anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you next week, folks, on our beer and chocolate pairing show. Enjoy, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Cheers, but I'm out of beer.
Cheers.